School was my favourite place and the place I hated most as a kid. I was terrified of school because I never knew what to expect. I never knew exactly what we were going to do each day, and I didn't know with 100% certainty if my friends were going to be there each day. I also didn't feel like the staff really understood when I was upset due to the unpredictability of it all. So throughout the entirety of my schooling years, I did always prefer the predictability of being home, so I had a lot of sick days. My challenges were blatantly obvious to my teachers in the earlier years. They'd write notes about me crying for hours wanting to go home, and by the time I got into upper primary, I was able to hide it a lot more. And by high school, the only really acknowledgement of my challenges was the occasional comment in my report card that said I was really quiet and it was concerning. I was doing a lot better in high school. I was coping a lot more. And I was getting used to the predictability of the unpredictability of it all. But the struggles I still had were obviously not really noticeable to the untrained eye. And yeah, all they saw was a really quiet student who did all of her work. No one could really see the underlying stress or the autism, really. So before you start thinking that school must have been really awful for me, firstly, it really was. But secondly, it was the best thing ever. I loved learning, and school provided the intellectual challenge that I desperately needed. My mother just could not keep up with my constant demands for maths problems and books and everything. I just constantly wanted to learn. So school was definitely what I needed. I wasn't diagnosed as autistic in school, so I didn't receive any formal supports, although I'm kind of glad I didn't anyway. My biggest positives would be a couple of my teachers at school. So my grade 6 teacher, Mr. Hunter, he was the first teacher ever to encourage me to follow my interests, and the first one to push me to reach my potential. He understood my desperation for new information, and he was quite patient when I shut down as well. And then my instrumental music teacher, Mr. Court, made school so much easier. He was my teacher from when I started clarinet in grade 7 all the way up until grade 12. And with his encouragement, I was playing one instrument in grade 7, I was playing 5 the following year, and then just more as the years went on. Like my grade 6 teacher, Mr. Court never limited my progress to that of a apparently typical student. He pushed me to reach my potential and to follow my passions, which was an absolute relief after so many years of being held back by the standard curriculum. Mr. Court also knew exactly how and when to push my skills further. So my self-esteem really grew a lot through the music practice, but also my social abilities and social confidence grew a lot through being band captain. Since school, I've gone to uni and I've just finished my Bachelor of Psychology. I'm now doing a PhD in autism to produce research that will hopefully benefit all of us. I'm not really plagued by the challenges I had at school. I now get to study exactly what I'm interested in. I had the best supervisors ever who let me, I guess, go at my own pace, and I'm very, very used to the unpredictability of adult life. Schools can do a lot more to be Aspie-friendly environments if we can train our teachers in identifying the more subtle signs of autism. They can be more aware of the undiagnosed kids like me. And probably the most helpful thing for me would have been if I was given a detailed list of the day's activities at least the day prior, because increasing the predictability of each day just makes it so much easier on us autistic kids and probably the ones with anxiety as well. The other thing is autistic kids typically have uneven academic abilities, or they're way behind, or they're way in front. So we need to have a flexible curriculum and much smaller class sizes so teachers can cater to the needs of each individual student. We really cannot underestimate the impact teachers have on our autistic kids. So we need to give them the resources and the capacity to be able to meet their needs.